Hi, welcome everybody. This is the Edgewalker Cafe on November 2nd. We're very excited about the conversation we're going to have today. And I just want to welcome you into this world where we need edgewalkers, those who can walk between the worlds and build bridges between the worlds. And it's such a challenging time politically, ecologically, spiritually. And so often we each feel like we're on the edge of a system and pretty lonely out there. And the purpose of the Edgewalker Cafe is to bring everybody together that is out on the edge, but to support us in the courage that it takes and the inspiration that it takes to be on the edge. So Patricia, I want to turn over to you in a moment. Patricia Campanile is one of the senior Edgewalker associates. She's been with Edgewalkers, I don't know, 20 years, something like that. It's
Right.
really been a long time walking this path together to bring greater peace and harmony and love and inspiration into the world. And Patricia is a coach and a workshop leader and just an incredible friend and spiritual companion on this journey. So over to you, Patricia.
Thank you so much, Jody and Judy. I'm seeing my friend
We
Jody.
have a Jody here.
Yeah, there's a Jody. Yeah. Thank you so much, dear Judy. And our longtime friendship and collegial relationship is such a gift. And I just feel so blessed, especially in the times that we're in, that we have all found each other in whatever way or capacity, and we could support each other in our individual and collective journeys, because it's important probably now more than ever to have the support we need, whether it's, regardless of how close or far away we are. So that collective energy is a gift and a blessing. And moments like this, and how all of you have decided to join the cafe today, and thank you so much for being with us, is a moment to build that energy and build that support, and also the impact in the world. When one or more come together, we help each other. So I'm really excited today to introduce Eleanor LeCain. Eleanor and I have known each other, what did we say, Eleanor, about, God, I've known Judy like 30 years. I mean, I've known you about like 20 something years. We've been friends. I originally met Eleanor through Women of Vision in Action, WOVA. She started that over 30 years ago with a woman named Rama Vernon, and said, let's expand it. And Judy Woods, who is here from Fort Myers, Florida, somewhere. Hi, Judy. Started the Fort Myers chapter, and I began the Naples, Florida chapter. And it was a way to bring women together. We did that for years, Women of Vision in Action, to focus women and their empowerment and their purpose, and to create circles of support and make a global and community impact. So that's kind of how I originally met Eleanor. We've done retreats together in Kauai. We've been to programs together. So I'm thrilled, Eleanor, to have you today, and especially with the timely summit that you have coming up called the Solution Summit, that you've been working with such focus and passion and diligence. But I'd like to first, Eleanor is in DC right now. I'm actually in Connecticut at this moment. And Eleanor, I'm going to do a quick, just so people know who you are and how amazing you are. Besides the WOVA impact for women, I'm going to just read this for a minute. So Eleanor LeCain is an advisor to U.S. and international policy makers, candidates, and donors, as well as an author and speaker about breakthrough solutions. She builds on decades of experience in government and campaigns to show practical pathways toward a better America and a new world. Eleanor served in the Massachusetts state government as Assistant Secretary of State. She was also an executive director of the Blueprint 2000, which led strategic planning for the state government, which had a $19 billion budget. Her book, which I recommend, is called Breakthrough Solutions: How to Improve Your Life and Change the World by Building on What Works. And it has a foreword by the Dalai Lama. Her second book, The Mayor's Guide to Accelerating Gender Equality, provides an action agenda to improve conditions for women and girls and was created in collaboration with the U.S. Conference of Mayors. Ms. LeCain has served as a top advisor on policy and strategy to many candidates and elected officials, from city council to secretary of state to presidential campaigns. In 2022, when election deniers threatened to take over elections, she was instrumental in electing Secretary of States committed to election integrity. Eleanor's international work includes advising the Kyoto Businessmen's Association in Japan on green business opportunities and the Japanese Parliament on policies to spur green business and job creation. She has advised members of South Korean Parliament on energy policy, has leadership roles for Conference with Women in the Mideast, and ran seminars on leadership from Afghanistan to the United States. As a host of weekly solution-oriented radio show, All Together Now, she interviews cutting-edge thinkers and activists about transformational leadership, pro-democracy movements, climate action, and more on PRN radio worldwide. She graduated from Yale College and the University of California Law School at Berkeley. Eleanor lives in Washington, D.C. with her husband and daughter. Wow, Eleanor, welcome, Eleanor LeCain, and she's going to particularly focus on her Solutions Summit, which is going to begin, I believe, on the 6th next week, and it's timely with everything coming up. So, Eleanor, welcome. Please tell us anything that you're inspired to, what was inspiring you about creation the Solutions Summit, and anything else you'd like to share about that at this point.
Terrific. Well, thank you so much, Patricia. It's just a joy to be with you and with other edge walkers. I feel like I'm in my tribe. It's fantastic. I appreciate the chance to, first of all, acknowledge some of my friends who are on the call here today. We got Marion and Judy and Kim.
Marion, yeah.
So I just want to give a shout out to some longtime friends. Delighted that you're here today. And I appreciate the opportunity to share this Solution Summit with you all. And I'll just, if I may, give a little background on how I came to do it. And as you heard from what Patricia was saying in my background, I have kind of had two paths in my life. One path was searching for, interviewing, finding, writing about, amplifying the people who have solutions that help with the transformation really to a new America and a new world. So I've been on a 30-year treasure hunt looking for the best of what's working, looking for what I call solutionaries. They're visionaries with bold solutions that would really transform where we're at. And I have been doing a radio show for years, interviewing these solutionaries. I wrote that book, Breakthrough Solutions, with the introduction from the Dalai Lama, showcasing some of those solutions. So I've kind of been in the world of transformation in that respect. At the same time, I've been very involved in helping elect good people to government who could implement these solutions. I've been a campaign manager. I've been an advisor, is Marianne Williamson's top policy advisor in her presidential run in 2020 there, and her House race before then. So but also many other candidates like Senator Elizabeth Warren. I helped elect her to the U.S. Senate. Really good people from local, state, and federal level. I wanted to get good people into positions where they could implement some of these solutions. What I'm doing now with the Solutions Summit is bringing these two worlds together. And I've realized that there are hundreds of great solutionaries out there, great ideas, and they're not connected to the people who can implement them. And at the same time, I know a lot of these people, city councilors, mayors, governors, congress members, they want to do the right thing, they want to do well, but they're not connected into the communities of solutionaries that I'm familiar with. So I'm throwing a big party
Mm.
and I'm inviting some of the best solutionaries I know together with the open-minded people in leaders in government who are looking for what we can do to make a difference. And I'm inviting all the American people to join in the party. And I decided to make it free and open to the entire country. And in fact, the world, if they also want to tune in. And what I'm doing is focusing on four of our major challenges, which is the climate crisis, our democracy under siege, our economic security, where there's so many people who are feeling economically insecure in our country, and finally, health, our whole overstressed health system, people chronically ill. What do we do about that? So I'm devoting one day to each of those four. We're starting Monday, November 6th, will be about Climate Solutions Day. All the programs will run from noon to 2:30 p.m. Eastern time. And it's like the angels have been behind me in this, as Patricia knows,
Mhm.
cracking this. I just thought it would be, kind of a handful of people and would kind of do a pilot and get it going. And amazing things are happening. I got an invitation from the U.S. House of Representatives to broadcast live from the U.S. House on Capitol Hill. So we are a citizen-led movement that is being brought right into the heart of government and having that as our base. So it's a hybrid event that'll be on Zoom broadcast from the U.S. House. We'll have members of Congress and their staff in the room, in a briefing room there. And most people will participate like this on Zoom. And I've got some amazing solutionaries participating. Um, and I should say, for each day, what I'm looking at, I'm going to frame at the outset. Here's the problem we're facing, like with climate. We got these climate disasters, we have carbon in the air. Then I go, what are the core problems? Like, what is at the root of the problems? And that's more about our disconnection from nature, and in some ways, our disconnection from each other, our disconnection from the cosmos. And, we want to address that level. Other root causes, the um, the companies who are blocking the fossil fuel companies who are blocking climate action. So we need to deal with that. So in each instance, I want to address the root causes and what do we do about it. And I'll be showcasing solutionaries who have solutions to the root causes, people who are already working on solutions to those root causes of the problem. So I think that's kind of a good overview of where we're at. So thank you for letting me share that, and I invite all of you to participate.
Thank you, Eleanor. And there's a kind of universal principle that says what you focus on expands. And one of the
Exactly.
things that I have known about you as a woman and a friend and a colleague and a visionary and a solutionary is like even from your book way back when you wrote it, it's about breakthroughs, focusing on what works. And so much of our kind of collective thinking, whether it's media, whatever, is focusing on what's broken. So I think that one of the things that I feel inspired by this is that you're bringing light to that there are some things that are working, and how can we actually enhance them or shift them or expand them, instead of just looking at what's not working, but that what is, and to create energy and commitment and focus and purpose around that. So one of the things that I read that you had sent me was about the impact. I kind of want to start, if I could, with that the impact that you intend to have with the Solution Summit is to reframe the crises that we have, as opportunities, and to paint an inspiring vision of a positive future based on practical solutions to our most pressing problems. And you talked about the four particular areas that you're going to be focusing on. but I like that you would replace despair and hopelessness with confidence and excitement that we can successfully solve our problems, not only in the world, America, but in the world. So I believe, tell me if I'm wrong, but my sense in talking to you and going a deeper dive, even with what edge walkers do, and as well as the Solution Summit, is to shift what we're focusing on, to shift the perspective, to start putting energy on not only identifying what works, but the fact that there are things in the planet and programs that are actually creating healing and shifting and new ideas and evolution. So I just wanted to kind of speak to that for a minute. If you have any comment about that.
I think that's so right on. And uh, you mentioned about what we focus on grows. That is a spiritual law of the universe.
Right.
That's how things
Mhm.
work. And I am deeply concerned that our media is so heavily focused on the breakdowns and the scandals instead of the
Mhm.
breakthroughs and the solutions. And I think it's part of what's helped to drive people into sadness, fear, and despair is that the media is so heavily focused on the breakdown. And I don't for a minute want to minimize the problems happening right now. They are very real. There are millions of people who are really suffering.
Mhm.
Suffering with sickness, illness. They're suffering with economic stress. We have people suffering in wars and the violence. So, and the climate disasters are very real, and they're already happening. So, I'm not minimizing that, but I do want to put it in perspective that there is so much attention on that sensational negativity that our
Mhm.
our American mind, our human mind around the globe is focused on all this bad stuff, and it really is demoralizing and it makes people feel um, kind of paralyzed and like, oh, it's so bad, giving up. And I think that's a real disservice. And because the actual fact of the matter is that while there are indeed those very real challenges. There are also thousands and millions of people in the United States and around the world who are actively working to successfully address those problems. I maintain that there is actually a whole solutions movement across the country and around the world. When I and it started with a dream, by the way. I had a dream about that guided me to be focusing on solutions. But we can talk about that later, maybe. But when I started my treasure hunt for solutions, I thought I might find like one or two special things in each area. I was blown away. Uh, it's just like being surrounded by insurmountable opportunity. There are
Mhm.
so many people working on solutions. It's so heartening. It's just they're all under the radar,
Right.
and the media
Mhm.
is not covering them. Um, so I believe that this is a solutions movement. I'm creating a platform for some of the best leaders and solutionaries in the solution movement and giving them visibility and connecting them to decision makers who can implement those solutions. So that's totally my intention here. And I'm hoping, just to tell you how bad it is, I had a longtime friend who is a professional media consultant, and I invited her in to help out, and she worked with me for a couple of months. And then she said, well, Eleanor, the reality is none of the media is going to see this as newsworthy.
Right.
Um,
Mm.
so she
Mm.
actually resigned. She said, I can't do this because I don't see that any of the media is going to show up for this. And I think she was correct in terms of the political media and the DC media. but what I did was say thank you for your service. And I discovered this whole solutions journalism network. And it's hundreds of people who are writing about solutions. And we connected with them and they're inviting us in. They're going to be writing, stories about our solutionary. So I think there are these networks that are bubbling below the most visible level, but there are people working on solutions and talking about them. And it gives me great hope and great joy that I can create a platform for some of these solutionaries to become much more visible.
First of all, thank you for your courage and your commitment and your vision. And I know that the Edgeworker organization and the individuals on this call today and those that are not, and Judy's vision and that, I mean, there's definitely a complementary sense of higher purpose and expanding because, we all know the quote by Albert Einstein, we cannot solve our problems at the level of consciousness that we've created them. And I feel we're in times it's a call to consciousness. It's a call to raise and shift and expand not only our vibration and our hearts, but our vision, and to know that, okay, that old media is not part of the new world. If they're not going to come in, there's something new that's coming, but we're in that transition time. And we're all whether it's the light workers, the bridge builders, the solutionaries, the edge walkers, we're the ones that have been called individually and collectively to shift. I know you said you're going to even have this exposed on the Shift Network. I think you mentioned that to me.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people out there, but it's not, we're not, it's not big media, most people, but we're here. So days like today, what you're providing next week, what Edgewalkers does, what each of us on this call today are doing individually and collectively, energy follows thought, and the more
Right.
the more and more we get together and the more we expand, it will become a more dominant consciousness, a more expansive way of being and doing in the world to really truly make a difference and to make a shift. But I think it's evolutionary. There's a lot that needs to break down as we move to the next level. So her saying that, it doesn't actually surprise me. And I could make up a story about that. Well, that's too bad. But there's a whole nother media and other opportunities that are available that are more in alignment with what you and a lot of us are trying to do.
Right, exactly. And my guidance on this was to just go ahead and create this solution summit and then not worry about who would show up or how big it would be. That at some level, this is about creating an energetic
Mm-hmm.
imprint in the
Mm-hmm.
ether that says we have solutions to all our problems. We have big, bold solutions to our big problem, and we have the people ready to work on them and already working on them. So I just kind of took that. I've always kind of followed my guidance, and as it's unfolded, I've been amazed at some of these positive things happening. Like never would have dreamt to get an invitation to broadcast from the U.S. House, but there we are. And we've got the head of the National Governors Association is participating. He's the Republican governor of Utah. We are nonpartisan, bipartisan. Everybody's welcome to the table. The head of the Association of Secretaries of State is participating. I've got this whole network, the New Deal Leaders Network, which is state and local elected officials all over the country. They're participating. So there's an openness of people ready and willing to hear what can we do. We are walking at a time when we're between two worlds. The old
Mm-hmm.
world is absolutely collapsing at a very rapid rate.
Yeah.
And the new world is emerging at a very rapid rate. And it's a very challenging moment. And I see this solution summit as a bringing together of those who are in leadership of the old system as it's collapsing and those who are the leaders showing the emerging new world to come together and say, let's make this transition as graceful as possible. And let's give hospice the old with grace and love, and midwife the new
Mhm.
with vision and courage. And we're doing that together at the Solution Summit. So I hope all of you can participate in the big party of the birth of the new America and the new world, and invite all your friends to join us.
Wow. Thank you, Ellen. I'm almost don't have words, but I love what you said, to hospice, with grace, the old, and to midwife, the new, because we're in transition, and it could be messy. A lot of things are breaking down, new things are emerging. We don't quite know the way. And I think that what I know as a coach, with individuals in my life, a lot of us have let go or moving out of our old world or old consciousness or old way of thinking, being, and doing as we transition into the new. And we don't even know what that is, many of us. So we're actually creating the new world. I mean, I think that's a lot of, you mentioned the bridge builders. That's what, one of the foundations of Edgewalkers is, of what you're doing. And I think that these type of cafes and these meetings, create fertile ground for that. But they also, I know myself personally, but I think a lot of us feel this creates a support. We're not alone. We have our community, we have our friends. There's others that are doing it, because it takes a lot of courage and patience and time and commitment, but also passion and inspiration and wonderful things to apply some of these. And I think if a lot of us look at our own lives or organizations, a lot of us have been getting ready for this time. We've been called for this period. Whatever that's going to look like individually or collectively, whatever we're going through individually, with our companies, with our businesses, with our organizations. We were birthed for this time. We're all here, and we're conscious and we're aware. And it just brings me a lot of hope and possibility and inspiration, knowing that it's like, if you build it, they will come. You created this, and just out of faith and commitment, and people showed up. In fact, individuals and organizations you never would have dreamed. So what that tells me is that there is a lot of people out there looking for a place to speak, to share, to contribute, to change, to transition, to evolve. And these type of groups like the Solution Summit or Edgewalkers have been created to give people a platform in which to actually do that, so we can shift.
That's exactly right, Patricia, and well said. And I want to give a shout out to Claire Zammit of Feminine Power, and I've taken
Yeah.
some of her program. She's
Amazing
excellent
woman.
and
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
a fabulous woman. And one of the things that I learned from Claire is she speaks to the fact that so many people now have this calling and a feeling of wanting to contribute something big to the world with, but they can't find a place where they really fit in. And what Claire says is it's because we need to create new platforms for our work. And I think even for me, as you know, I've been engaged and always up to something, and done work as campaign manager or policy advisor or tutor to elected officials on policy, all of that, some speaking. But I really, there was a part of me that felt I hadn't really quite landed where I needed to be. And I didn't feel it was running for office and serving in office. But I never kind of got a full landing spot to do the Women of Vision and Action was certainly one. In some ways,
Mm-hmm.
that's a precursor to the Solution Summit. But I feel like this is really it. This is me creating a platform to showcase the solutionaries, the visionaries showing the way to a new America and a new world, and connecting them in with decision makers and with citizens who will know, what to be demanding from officials and what we can do ourselves. That creating that platform is a great place for me. It's taken me a lifetime really of building up relationships among solutionaries and among the elected officials and people in government. And they're trusting me and showing up for the party here. So I'm hoping this is kind of a launch of a community
Mhm.
of evolutionary uh, thought leaders, problem solvers, solutionaries, and decision makers and citizens coming together rapidly. And my hope is we could come up with just a few things in each area, like on climate action. If we could get a few key actions to be taken and united elected officials at the local, state, and federal level, united the citizens, get people focused on that and active on those, that could accelerate the implementation of key solutions to our core problems. So I'm hoping that's something that comes out of this and out of what I hope to be an ongoing network of solutionaries.
That sounds wonderful, Eleanor. Can you all see me? I lost my Zoom.
I can see you. You look great.
All right, I can't see any of you, so I'm just gonna kind of know that you're
Leap
there
of
for
faith.
some reason. Huh? What's that? I don't want to interrupt the flow, but for some reason, I'm not able to see anybody. It just completely went out. But as long as you could see me, that's fine. So Eleanor, I want to do a little Q&A, but I just want to mention to people that the registration is solutionssummit2023.com, correct?
That's right. And I noticed Judy put that in the chat. Thank you, Judy.
Okay, great. And then
It's free, by the way, free to everybody.
no, that's wonderful. And it's every day from 12 to 2:30. And on it's 11 to 6 Monday is climate solutions, 11 to 9 Thursday is economic security solutions, 11:14 on a Tuesday is health solutions, and 11:16 Thursday is democracy solutions. So that's when you sign up, do you sign up for, I just want to clarify, do you sign up for all of them or do you have to sign up for each one?
Sign up for each one that you want. We wanted to know who was interested in which topics and
Okay.
how many would be there for each one. So if you want to do all four, then you can register for all four. If you want just one, you can do that. Thank you, Kristen. You signed up for two. Welcome to the party. That's great. Uh, and honestly, it was like three, about 3 weeks ago on our executive team, we were thinking, are we going to have between 5 and 50 people at each of these sessions? But, the fact that Stephen Dinan sent out his invitation to the whole Shift network, and we've done some social media and just I wrote to my friends and asked them to circulate it. I'm happy to report we have over 1,000 registrants coming, and it's growing every day. So we're uh, we're very excited about people coming to the table to join in. I think it's a sign of the hunger out there that you're talking about, Patricia. People wanting to come together. And Jody, I see, yes, recordings will be available after the summit. Um, but what we're going to be doing is probably editing it down to some of the highlights, and we'll distill 2.5 hours. Um, Thank you, Peggy, for signing up from the Shift Network. So people are reading those invitations, and I'm trusting that whoever is meant to will hear the call, and we're sending out the invitation, and people are coming. Whoever needs to, wants to, is open to participating and helping to create a new America and a new world. We want you with us. And I did also want to respond, if I might, and I apologize if my eyes move over, it's because I'm looking a little bit at the chat. Diane talking about we need to discern, we don't need to throw the baby out with the bathwater. There are some things of the current system that really work well. Yes, for one thing, I think democracy is worth saving the voice of the people, the majority rule. You know, we want to be discerning. We're not saying everything's going down. What I see happening right now at a spiritual level is a purging of all that is not in integrity with spiritual truth.
Right.
And if there are people who are stealing or exploiting or controlling and manipulating or hiding their thievery and deception, I think there's a that's rising to the surface. All that is hidden will be revealed. And that purging is happening. It's not fun. It's not
Right.
pleasant. It's
Mhm.
very destabilizing. But I think on the other side of it will be a cleansing of some of the major challenges that are there and create more of a space and a willingness to recognize we are all one human family connected on one planet and part of the cosmos and living in greater harmony with each other and greater harmony with Mother Nature and greater connection to the cosmos. So I think that's the journey we're on. We're at a very critical moment, and I'm excited that at the summit, I hope to the image that comes is like a lighthouse that will send out a beacon of hope that yes, we have solutions, we can solve all these problems. In fact, people are already working on the solutions, so let's join in and get behind it.
Well, and Eleanor, there, there's an expression from A Course in Miracles that says, love brings up everything unlike love. And there must be a lot of love on the planet right now, and a lot of people really working to elevate and to shift and evolve, because everything that is not of the highest is coming up like big time to be, dispelled, to be shown, to be brought to the surface, to be disrupted. So we have to, no, we have to, but I just invite everyone to kind of remember that when we're in the midst of a lot of pain and despair, whether it's individually or if you're looking at some of the hardships and horrible things that are happening, there is something bigger that's happening. And when you look at what you're creating, what Edgewalkers is about, all the individuals on this call, and then some, there's a lot of good and a lot of light and a lot of shifting that actually is going on the planet. The thing is that the news doesn't really cover it. We don't really see that on the newspapers and in mass media, but there's other ways like this today and what you're doing that are shedding light to that. So you and I have spoken that absolutely that's what's happening right now. Everything is coming up to the surface that is not in integrity. And we use the word a lot, sustainability. How can things sustain if they're not sustainable if it's not based on higher truth, integrity, the good for the all? They can't last. So things are crumbling. There's a lot of chaos. And I think what's that?
We have a couple of hands up.
Yeah.
Kim,
So anyway,
it's so good to see you. And Peggy.
Yeah, let's do some. So that's me. Let's do some Q&A. Thank you, Judy. Oh yes, go ahead. That's Kim Welchel.
Me first. Okay, my name is Kim Eleanor. I always love what you do. It's so great to see you again. I'm really happy you're doing this now at a time when people are so hopeless. There's so much bad news. It's hard to absorb and stay upbeat. So this couldn't come at a better time. And I'm really glad that you're focusing on the root causes, because that's so important to be able to really transform an issue or an area, is to go back to the root causes. But I want to have a request, maybe a plea, and that is that you take the summary of what comes out of this and publicize it, because only so many people can attend. It's invaluable information. And I personally, as an author myself, would be happy, really happy to help you, because I know it's a lot of work to put together into written form. And we want to get this out much more broadly. So I'm offering my help to you after the summit's over and you've recouped, to be able to summarize it and get it out there. Any way I can be supportive.
Kim, that is so fantastic. First of all, wonderful to see you again, and I miss you. And but thank you so much for that. Yes, it has always been my intention, and that was what I was getting, was don't worry about who shows up, because what's really going to matter is the written report I'll do afterwards and the edited videos. And that's where we're going to need like a massive outreach on that. So I do intend, I don't know whether it's a conference report, it may be a book.
I think it's a book.
I haven't.
It's more than a report. I think it's a a big book.
a book, and it's going to be called Solutions, or the Solutions Movement, something like that. And then it'll talk about these 4 areas as kind of a begin. They're 4 the biggest challenge. They're life-threatening to many people, if not the entire humanity right now, when you talk about climate. But so yes, we want to start with these 4. I so appreciate your help, because I've been so focused on identifying and recruiting the solutionaries and getting all the elected officials to the table and getting the mechanics of this all done. Um, and making sure I get some sleep somewhere in there, hopefully. If you could all pray for me to sleep well, that would be a big help. But I appreciate your offer, and I will absolutely take you up on it. If let you and I talk, give me a day after the last summit will be on Thursday, November 16th, on democracy. Maybe that Monday of the week after, let you and I talk, and we'll see about how to connect around that. And by the way, I should also mention Democracy Day, November 16th, that Thursday, there will be a live event in Washington, D.C., hosted by the Women's National Democratic Club, which is my favorite building in Washington. It's this elegant mansion. They're having a luncheon and a big viewing party. So anybody who wants to come together and watch the democracy solutions together, if any of you are in the DC area, or you want to come in for it, or friends, I'd be happy to send an invite out. But it's through the Women's National Democratic Club .org, WNDC.org. I can put that in the website. And really, the more the merrier. Would love to have you come for that. It'll be fun.
Wonderful. Anyone else? Yes, I see Dave Fearon.
Thank you. Wonderful. It's providential, as I just texted or put in the chat to Judy, that I'm here and they're all here. But I think of the almost like a fable where a small child with a pail and shovel, comes into a gathering and everyone's offering something. I'll tell my network, and I'll write a book, and I will help. And then the child, which I feel like, even though I don't look like one, is thinking, but all I have is a pail and shovel. Maybe I don't belong here. Maybe there's nothing I can do. And what we have to look at, if this is really, really, really going to spread, is everyone has to feel they have something. And it won't be dictated. It'll come from the heart. What can I do with a pail and shovel? Well, I can carry the message. That's my thought anyway.
Hey, David, you could do a podcast with Eleanor.
Oh, I'd love to. Yeah. Yeah.
After the summit.
As I have with Judy.
Thank you, Dave. We're each a spark of the divine, huh? We each matter, whatever capacity.
Everyone matters.
Peggy's hand is up.
I see Peggy.
Yeah. So this is very exciting for me, especially about the democracy one. I've been very concerned about democracy for quite a few years. And in the last few months, I've been doing a lot of research to see this particular issue that kind of speaks to what Dave was just talking about, which is my concern that a lot of people don't really understand the difference between democracy and authoritarianism, dictatorship. And so I've been thinking what needs to happen is to educate the general public, millions of people, about that distinction. And like I said, I cannot find any group I've researched. And I mean, I see a lot of people trying to get out voters or talking about voters and voter registration. But if they're just registered to vote and then they go and they see the D or the R without this background, and as you're saying, a lot of real educated people that I talk to too have gotten real apathetic. They don't care. They don't think it makes a difference who you vote for. It's all, just the way it is. And so they don't even understand that we're on the verge of an authoritarian government. So I'm wondering if you know of anything, but just know I'm in the process right now of forming a foundational committee, an organization. I'm looking at it like mass involvement of getting millions of people to help educate other millions of other people about what's happening, and trying to be careful that it's not Republican or Democrat. I don't care. I mean, I care, I guess, to some extent if it's a Republican or Democrat, because I worked for President Clinton. They were teachers of mine in law school. I worked for him as Assistant Attorney General, Purchasing Director in Arkansas, and then when he was governor. So I have some political background, government background, and then a bunch of training and coaching and consulting background, Brent, putting that all together. So, so any thoughts about that? Or I'd love to talk with you about organizations you think might be interested in taking up this project as I submit it, like with all kinds of materials and how to do this and how to talk. And then I think a big piece of it too is getting people involved, as Dave was referencing, that they feel like, what do I want to do in my community, in my city, in the state? And so that, and for people to really realize this is our country. This is not the politicians' country. This is not the big leaders' country. This is our country. So how do we want to live? How do we want to play? How do we want to work together? And so that's the message and the come from that I'm bringing to this project that I started about months ago, but now it's coming. I'm gelling with the committee to get this organized and going. So any thoughts, comments, direction, or if you're interested in talking to me later, would love it. Because I've got to do this.
Right.
That's awesome. Well, Peggy, it sounds like the spirit is moving in you too. So good for you for hearing the call and responding. That's fantastic what you're doing. I love that. So a couple of suggestions. One is if you go to our website, Solutions Summit 2023, and scroll to the very bottom, it says, we want to hear your solutions. And there's a form you can fill out. Obviously, we're fully booked for this one. I've suddenly become a very popular person. Lots of people are contacting me and saying, hey, can I speak at your summit? So I said, well, that's a good sign. But the answer is not this time, because we're fully booked and already, just kind of moving with what we got. But on the website, go to the bottom and it says, we want to hear your solution. Fill out that form. We will be looking at every one of those, or if you know other people doing good things, invite them to do that. I've spent 30 years looking for great solutions and I've found a great number, and I know there's many more out there. So I want to always keep an ear to the ground and listen to what's happening. That's great. And then secondly, I would say, yes, I would be happy to talk with you after. First, make sure you're at Democracy Day. Where do you live, Peggy?
Fayetteville, Arkansas.
You're in Arkansas.
Mhm.
Fantastic. All right. The state with the most expensive governor's lectern.
Yeah.
So yes.
Judy's here too. Judy and I live in the same town.
Oh, fantastic. Well, we need help in Arkansas for sure. So let's talk after the summit is over and we'll have a conversation and I can learn more about what you're doing, and I might have some other ideas for be helpful. And I would also say make good use of November 16th or whatever day you're at the summit. We have the attention of all these people for this moment, and this is a pilot. I honestly don't know if we're going to do any more. At the moment, I'm not inclined to go through this again, honestly, but maybe we'll see how it goes. But this is maybe a once in a lifetime opportunity, connecting these great ideas and solutions that need to be done with very high level people. I got a call last week from the top in the White House expressing interest in this. They are listening in. So use the time at the summit and be active in the chat role. And feel free, don't do a big promotion, but feel free to mention, hey, I'm doing this project. Here's a website to learn more about it, just so people it's an opportunity to interface then that may not come again.
Okay. Awesome.
Okay,
Thank
great.
you.
Thank you, Peggy. And I love these connections being made. It's wonderful. Amy.
Yeah, I love what I'm hearing and I love the suggestions people are making. I just want to point out that it is the younger folks who are going to be leading us into this new world. And I may be wrong, but my assumption is that it will be the older folks or, that'll be on the summit. We need to find a way after the summit to put the information in a form that a younger person who tends to, Lady Gaga, shallow, who tends not to focus real deep and get into stuff, can resonate with it and create conversations that matter with it. So it begins to spread on other levels too, on other generations. So, and maybe that's maybe that's cartoons, maybe that's TikTok or whatever, but there needs to be, I would say, before you do the summit, bring together a group of younger folks who can begin to be the base of that support network.
I appreciate that, Amy. I so appreciate you thinking of next generation. I slight amendment. It is the next generation, the young people, as well as the older people with experience. We're all working together to help give birth to the new world, and it's not one or the other. It's all of us, actually. So I want to just honor those, everybody at the table there. And yes, teens need something to be hopeful for, as all of us do, but particularly it's a very rough time to be coming. I would appreciate your help, Amy, in reaching out to younger people. I have hired as the program manager is a young woman in her 30s, which is young to me. Teenager may not think that's young, but I think 30s is young. And she's been great. And I've hired a college person as my social media coordinator. They're apparently tearing it up on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and not so much LinkedIn, but those three. So we've got a social media team doing outreach there. So, but we can always use more. And I would love your help in getting the word out to the young people. Anything you can do to let them know about the summit. I do think this is, for some people, this will be a lifeline. I was feeling so sad, so depressed, so hopeless. This is a lifeline. There is hope. There is possibility. There is a team of people who care. They are on it and they are working and they are fearless and they will not be stopped. So we want to help be that. I think of, Franklin Delano Roosevelt in the middle of the Great Depression. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Right.
We really have nothing to fear here. There is, to circle back what Patricia said, there is crisis, yes, and crisis is the flip side opportunity. It is precisely because these crises are so challenging that it's creating an opening and an opportunity for the level of transformation that we have needed for a very long time. Humans have been out of sync with Mother Nature, excepting for our Native American friends, for generations now, and we need to reweave the web of life and see that we are part of the web of life. And from that place, then we can recreate our economy and everything else in a way that's respectful and in harmony with nature, who wants to work with us, I believe, but do it in harmony with nature, not in an exploitative predatory mode that we're in right now on the whole. So that's what we need.
Okay. Oh, thank you, Eleanor. Well, it's 5 of top of the hour. We have 5 more minutes. Is there anyone that really has anything to say? Judy, I know that you asked me to do a contemplation in the beginning and I didn't, so I'm inspired to kind of complete this at the end with a centering. And then if you have any, unless Eleanor, you have anything else, I want to give you a last minute to speak, or maybe tell us anything else about the summit. And Judy, if you want to maybe talk about the next cafe that's coming, what, December
7th. Yes, I have announcements.
You do. Okay. So let's just, first of all, Eleanor, just thank you. And Judy, thank for all of you for being here today. This was such a rich, timely, I know I'm just really inspired and really touched, and thank you. Thank you. So just let's all bring our energies together for just even 30 seconds, all of us, to just come together as friends, as colleagues, as evolutionaries, as edgewalkers, solutionaries, the amazing individual that you are, choosing to be born at this time and place in the world. And we feel the connection between us, regardless of where we are, knowing that we're not alone, knowing that our collective energy helps to expand, touch, heal, shift our planet, each other, the systems, humanity. And we ask for guidance and clarity, and we are open to being patient and courageous, to see the signs, to follow the guidance, to be expectant and excited about all that's coming, all that we can't see, and releasing with maybe sadness and even gratitude the lessons and what we're leaving behind, knowing that we're in the chrysalis and we're birthing a new humanity, a new America, a new world. And we are grateful for this time together and for what's to come. And so it is.
So it is.
Mm.
Eleanor, I am so grateful for today. And Patricia, so grateful for you bringing your longtime friend to this wonderful event today, and looking forward to participating in the Solutions Summit. And I hope you all will spread the word through your communities and ripple this opportunity out to the world. A couple of quick announcements. Our next Edgewalker Cafe is December 7th, and I will be facilitating that. My guest is Carol Ross, who used to be a software engineer at Avaya and is now a healer, an Akashic Records reader, and an incredible coach. So she goes very, very deep into healing, even ancestral healing. And then on January 11th, we have Sue Fick, who, I've forgotten what Sue Fick does. Somebody help me here.
It's kinesiology, I think.
Yes, kinesiology. Thank you. We had to postpone Sue as my mistake. I made a mistake about our time, and so I apologize to our community for that. But we have been able to reschedule her for January 11th. We do these each month, these Edgewalker Cafes, sometimes with speakers and sometimes as community dialogues. And you're always welcome. They're free. Please invite others to join if you think this would be resonant for them. If you want to know more about what's coming up, you can go to edgewalkers.org, our website, and sign up for the newsletter. And usually we've got things posted on the website. My last announcement is that we are now publicly celebrating our partnership with MaximizeU.life. We are forming this partnership, we have formed this partnership to create the Edgewalker Academy that will be a real community building platform for Edgewalkers, solutionaries, visionaries, evolutionaries, for all of us to be able to come together to share what we have to offer and what we need, and to educate ourselves and educate each other. So when we have more concrete information, we'll share that on the website, the newsletter, and through our cafes. So I think that's it. I'm complete. And
Thank
let's,
you, Judy. And I just want to make a comment. There's great information in the chat. So in the recording, is the chat there? I mean, I'm just looking at all the great quote things. Is there a way that people can access the chat?
if you want to save the chat, in the message box at the bottom, you'll see like a little smiley face and a document, and then way to the right is 3 dots, and you can click on that, and that will save the chat from the time that you come in. Yeah, we don't, I save them, but we don't post those anywhere. But
All right, I just wanted to clarify in case someone didn't know, and you will be recording this and it will be on the website, correct?
correct.
Okay, great. Eleanor, thank you again. Judy, everyone, this was fabulous, and have a beautiful day, evening, wherever you are. Thank you for being with us.
Go make a difference.
So much.
Lots of love. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.